Thank you for your service. Thank you for the service. I'm Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind. And today is Wednesday, February 17, 2021. This morning I woke up listening to a reminder from Infinite Intelligence that we are led down many different paths as we build our lives here on the physical plane. Yet each of us in his own way is fulfilling the grand design of infinite intelligence. Some are seemingly frivolous and fun to travel, but others are filled with sweat, discipline, and duty. So to those, today, I'd like to take a moment to pay homage to the military. The military, these are the people who are fulfilling a duty and serving the American people. They're the people who are there to make sure that we can continue living in a way that lets us come and go as we please. We don't need to have identity papers just to walk down the street. So to those current and past members of the U.S. Navy, Army, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force, and National Guard, I say thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your service. Please click on the thumbs up button if you haven't already done so, the button below. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Remember, I'd love to see your comments, thoughts, and questions. So if you're watching this live, that is today, Wednesday, the 17th of February at 3 o'clock, then use the chat box on the right side of the screen. Otherwise, if you're watching any other time, please use the comment section below the video, because then you're in replay mode. All right. So, I'm one of the millions of people who walk the streets of this country being totally oblivious to the world outside of our own small lives. Well, not quite. We're not concerned with the possibilities and the contingencies, the discipline, and the preparation that are part of the lives of those serving in the military. We don't have to be ready. They do. If something catastrophic happens, we have the luxury of depending on the military to come to our rescue. We can depend on the military because they know what to do. They'll know how to protect us. Sometimes I look around with amusement at the people who would be totally lost without the protection of our military personnel. It's because of their presence that we're allowed to be unconscious. As I look back at my 4 years in the U.S. Air Force, I feel a sense of pride and gratitude. It was the Air Force that took me from being an undisciplined, unfocused, out-of-shape young man and turned me into a physically fit, goal-oriented, mission-ready, highly disciplined of the American way of life. Getting to the level where I was a functional military man was not an easy task. As anyone who's gone through military basic training ordeal can tell you. I remember that first night sleeping in a barracks in that big open room with all those other people who was just as lost as I was. Then sometime around 3 a.m. that first night, I remember all hell broke loose. Loud noises, shouting, alarms. It was a fire drill. Suddenly we were being rushed outside in just our underwear. I remember passing by one of the beds where the man who was in it was having trouble waking up, and standing over them was a drill sergeant screaming, "Wake up and piss, the world is on fire." It was insane. When we were allowed to come back to return to bed, I remember thinking that I'd been locked in an insane asylum. What is this? From that point on, every morning we got up, except Sunday. We were up at 5 a.m. for physical training. I remember that first week was so painful They were forcing me to put my body through positions and repetitions that it had never had to experience before. Plus, there was always this stranger walking around over us shouting at us. The second week wasn't as painful, but there was a lot of soreness. But by the third week, I could actually get through the physical training sessions without wishing that I was dead and out of my tortured body. Then they would feed us, I remember after physical training, they would feed our tortured bodies with as much food as we could eat. And boy, did I eat. I remember that when I started basic training, I was so skinny that a stiff wind would have blown me over. But by the time I had gotten through basic training, I had gained 20 pounds, and it wasn't fat. Then there were all those silly rules I had to memorize. Rules that made no sense to me. At least that's what I thought at first. And then one day it all sort of clicked together, and I realized that those silly rules would save my life and would save the lives of my colleagues. And as for marching, don't get me started. I remember when we first started, we were walking and falling all over each other. It was literally a car wreck. Watching us try to march was probably like watching the Keystone Cops. Coming together as a unit was a gradual and tedious process, doing it over and over and over again, bitching and moaning about the tedium of it. There were so many other things we'd rather be doing than marching out here on this hot field. Then there was the moment when everything came together. Wow. Everybody kept the right distance. Every foot hit the ground at the same instant. Every command was executed in sync. Suddenly the frowns were replaced with smiles. We were doing it. We were actually marching. Now the resistance was replaced by desire. Desire to do it better. Desire to get the coordination more perfect. To become a perfect precision marching machine with 70 of us working together, moving smoothly as a unit. The sense of pride around us was so thick that you could cut it with a knife, especially when we marched down the streets with such precision that others would stop to watch us. I remember being so thrilled when my fellow airmen asked me to lead them as their marching commander. Wow. The drill steps and moves they executed so perfectly at my commands sometimes gave me goosebumps. These people were good. As for clothing, wow. When I started, I didn't know how to dress because dressing wasn't one of the things that I was really concerned about. But through basic training, after learning how to care for my uniforms and my shoes and my headgear, and learning what it took for us to pass inspection and how to stand up straight while wearing my clothes, my appearance took on a whole new power. By the time I came out of basic training, I was a different person, an obviously different person. I was a more confident person. I was a more conscious person. I was a more aware person. I was a more prepared person. Yeah. Of course, there were many experiences during my years in the military. Many. Some were great, others weren't so great. But as I look back, I can only express appreciation for all the experiences and all the learning and all the growing that my few years in the Air Force as an airman gave to me. So this is what I have to say to all those who serve in the various branches of our service now and who have served in the various branches of our military. I say thank you. Thank you. I have relatives in the military, my niece Erica, my nephew Tejan, my Aunt Jackie, 25 years, Jackie? My Aunt Jackie. Infinite intelligence guided them and is guiding those, all of us, who voluntarily served, voluntarily serve the noble duty of protection voluntarily. By doing that, you have given us much more than money can buy. Yes, you have given yourselves to a cause much larger than yourselves. And for that, we are truly grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Infinite intelligence thanks you. It's a marvelous thing you're doing. Marvelous. Let's close with prayer. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence, for bringing all of us into this life. We're bringing all of us together in this life so that we may become spiritual warriors and join in the work we have come here to do. Thank you, Infinite Intelligence, for bringing us into this space of awareness and a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationship to life and infinite intelligence. Thank you for showing us who we really are. We open our minds and hearts to the truth of our being. We are the children of God. We are individualized expressions of infinite intelligence. And because we are part of the greater whole, we are beginning to understand our value to the continuity of life on this planet. As we become channels of your power, infinite intelligence, we can feel your presence within ourselves and within our lives more and more. And then we know that as we feel your presence within our lives, every day we will rise because we are no longer cut off from you by being immersed in the darkness of fear, anger, and the pain of unforgiveness. So we are now restoring our connection through the grace of forgiveness, knowing that as we learn to forgive ourselves for the pain we have caused to ourselves, and as we learn to forgive those who have inflicted pain upon us, our connections will grow stronger, and our lives will grow happier, healthier, and more prosperous. And for this, we are truly grateful. As above, so below. As within, so without. And so it is. Amen. So thank you for watching. And thank you to those in the military, past and present. Really appreciate the service you're giving us. So today is Wednesday, February 17th, 2021. I appreciate your watching. Please click on the thumbs up button below. If you haven't already done so, please choose to subscribe. And remember, I'd love to see your comments. So if you put them in the comment section below, I'd really appreciate it. So remember, this has been Reverend Andrew Bozeman. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, right here, on the Wings of Your Mind.